Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I have Nooch Too Good here, and we are going to be debating what the best starter galactic legend in the game is. Now, I recently put out a video saying you shouldn't farm a ton of GLs, but the exceptions to that are Leia and Jabba, and I will be taking the position of Leia as best first GL, and I believe Nooch is taking the position of Jabba, unless I've gotten that wrong. So, Nooch, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I feel like we're in a high school debate team thing now. You told us I'm taking this position, Nooch is over there, but yeah, that's where I am. And you actually, that was your Balin Skull video was really smart, and not to say you're not normally smart, but I really like that. And that's actually, I'm going to adopt that. Like, I think it's true. Go get the Great Mothers and Balin. It's two huge teams for you, plus an assault battle team is, early mid games when you should be grabbing those guys. I like that video as well.
Yeah, you mean the one saying don't farm a bunch of GLs with Balin on the thumbnail then?
Right, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and I think your point was well taken that you can farm teams that do a lot more for you, with a lot less effort than going after some of these GLs. Yeah, at that point in the game, like, I mean, Sith Eternal, what's he ever done for anybody? I don't know.
He's good. He's the best.
He's all right.
So yeah, so I think we both agree Jabba and Leia are kind of their own class. So just first off, what do you think it is about them that makes them kind of the exceptions?
Well, first of all, I think that so you got the two paths now, basically, or the three paths. You've got the sequel path, which is like these independent farms for Rey and Kylo. Most people are buying bundles for those guys now, but that's like a complete side journey from anything. Then you got the Luke path and the General Skywalker path for Galactic Legends. Well, the Luke paths are just automatically simpler with the way that they're built and the way that they tie into each other. Like, you need gas for Lord Vader and Ahsoka and for Hondo, and there's some tie-in also there with General Kenobi, but not General Kenobi, Jedi Master Kenobi. But the way you farm Luke, it's almost like a 70 to 80% overlap between like Jedi Master Luke and Leia, and then like a 50% overlap between those two and Jabba. And you don't have to go get a whole other team like the 501st to go with gas. And so I just think the amount of it's efficiency, right? It's efficiency. So that's what I'm saying. It's super efficient to go get these Jedi Knight Luke related Galactic Legends first, and it's going to be much quicker for you than going the gas route, while also producing a lot more value for assault battles and everything else in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think Gas is. I mean, he got kind of a bump in my eyes when they made you able to relic characters before 7 stars, and now once Relic Delta comes in, he'll just get bumped right back down. Because Relic 3 Gas is not gonna be beating Rays and Relic 7 Rays in DW or GSE or anywhere. Yeah, Gas just takes a lot of characters to acquire. So I have one big holdup on Jabba. I mean, I have a lot of reasons. I think Leia is just better overall than Jabba as like a unit. I don't know if you disagree too much with that or at all. But then the value of acquiring her before Jabba, there's a couple big hang-ups. So what do you think would be a potential snag for going for Jabba over Leia?
Well, I look at going for Jabba first, right? And I look at that strictly for the return on investment of running Smuggler's Run 2 3 times a month. Now, the question might be, when we get Smuggler's Run 3, which we're supposed to be getting soon with Hondo and Naka, do they reduce that occurrence? Because right now, Smuggler's Run 2 3 times a month I've done the math, it's worth somewhere around 10,000+ crystals of mod materials in your roster every month if you assign value to the mod materials. And golly, that's nothing to thumb your nose at. I absolutely think that Leia is the premier like Galactic Legend performer. Like, if you put her in against anybody else, she performs against every other Galactic Legend, I believe. Especially if you're on offense and you're controlling what she's doing. So I agree with that 100%. I do still think like Jabba is an effective Galactic Legend. You also need him in rote territory battles right up the middle every single round. Now, you're going to need Leia too, so that's kind of a trade-off. But you specifically require Jabba in those tiers. And I think Jabba 3v3 is just about as effective as anybody. Right now with the Wampa crime makes it a little more complicated, but 3v3 Jabba is an extremely good team on defense. Like a standalone Jabba in 3v3 Grand Arena is really hard to kill. Imperial Troopers don't have a tendency not to get it done because they just don't have enough turn meter feet in there. So I do think Leia outperforms Jabba on an in-game basis. For me, the return on investment is the reason that I say Jabba should be your first Galactic Legend in the game.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. I definitely agree. I mean, Smuggler's Run 2 is so huge that it really just kind of dwarfs a lot of other considerations. However, for me, I went for Jabba second. I got Leia first, and it took like probably 5 months, 4 or 5 months to get Jabba after her. So that's how many? You get 2 6-dot mods per, so that's like, I don't know, 16 to 20 6-dot mods I maybe missed out on. I don't think it was too bad, and I have a few reasons why I don't care about the ROTE. So yes, you can use him all the way up the middle. But I don't know about you. When I start a new account and it's a free account, I am not completing every combat mission in Rise of the Empire TV. And also, even if I was, those combat missions are worth crap. And for people that are just starting, my main account, I mean, we go all the way up through the R8 planets, R8 9 planets, all that. But like even my GoTanks account guild, we're a great guild. They're dominant in TW. They're getting like 100 million on the raid, but we get like, I don't know, upper 20s in the stars. Like we'll barely peek into like Kessel, like an R8 planet. So I'm using at max R7 planets, and if I get Leia first or Jabba first, I'm still getting one team that can just roll through. Like Jabba, he rolls through, but his requirements, actually, you can't, unless you bump them up some extra, you can't use him over except for like the first planet. Right. With his ideal team, you got to bump up some extra relics. Leia, you got R2, you got Drogon, you got Captain Rex, you got 3PO and Chewie. Even if you didn't do anything else other than like farm for Rex, you got all of them at Relic 7. So you're like good to go for a team all the way up through. So even me now having Jabba for the better part of a year, it's like, I mean, I do use him every ROTE, but it's just like, that's not really a feather in the cap for Jabba for me. Really, it's only the Smuggler's Run 2, but also I think it probably just takes longer because this is the big hang up that I was wondering if you'd be able to guess. Jedi Knight Luke. So Jedi Knight Luke, huge like momentum killer because he takes a lot to get, not just the Relic 3s. That's not as big a deal to me, but that does take a while. It's a large volume of Relic 3s. It's needing Millennium Falcon. But I guess that's why this path to me is kind of a generic, uniquely Sunjita path. I like the Galactic Republic fleet. I didn't go for Executor early. So Millennium Falcon, I did get it, but I was farming those ships for such a long time, and like I finished them after I finished Leia. Like I think I started farming Millennium Falcon and Leia around the same time, but I got Leia first. So it's just such a huge holdup needing Millennium Falcon for Jedi Knight Luke. All those extra relics. Where you could get Leia for probably a cheaper overall cost, even when you just look at gear. But then she doesn't need ships. Like, the fact that she doesn't need ships is incredible. And the thing that both of them have that's awesome is they don't require Conquest unit lifters. They're just perfect even without them. It's just huge. And another thing, I don't know if us content creators, we don't have time to watch everything each one of us puts out. So I don't know if Nooch, you were aware. I went undefeated in Chromium last season. I won all 9, and it's because I was in a Rhodium for 3v3, a Rhodium 4. So that squished down back into Chromium. But then I just ran the table, and everyone was bigger than me. The biggest reason was Leia on defense was basically impenetrable. I had, our 2 main guys, Drogon and R2. But then Captain Rex and Kyle Katarn actually has some good synergy with them. But like even these huge 10, 11, 12 million accounts, they have Bane. They have like, I've fought in ones that have every Galactic Legend. They can't handle Leia if you have a decent Datacron. Whereas Jabba, when I got Jabba, I was like, yeah, I'll play hard defense. I'll set them both on defense. People just like roll over Jabba. 3v3, 5v5 didn't matter. Like everyone's just like aware of what's coming up, and they just, I don't know. And then even this season, I'm in Erodium 1, 3v3. My Leia, 6 battles, they didn't kill it. My opponent had, how big is their GP? They had 11.56 million. Tons of GLs. Could not kill Leia. I lost 826 to 942. I put the Jawakra on Leia for all that offense and health. But she just is just such a juggernaut. She single-handedly carried me to Erodium. And that's not necessarily an argument for her being the best first, because if I got her second, I'd still be in this same scenario. But, okay, I've thrown a lot at you. So have I swayed in just that time? Have I swayed your perspective at least a little bit?
Well, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I didn't take a lot of swaying. I don't think. I remember when you got Leia, and we were talking, and I said, "Oh, you're only a couple months away from Jabba," and you went, "A couple months," and I was like, "Yeah, maybe not." But anyway.
Oh yeah, you said 2 months after Leia. I was like, "Wait, what?" After 2 months, I was like, "I'm not even close. How did you do that?" And you're like, "Oh, I didn't actually do that. I was just."
I hadn't been able to see your accounts. Didn't know that I think I may have heard you went 9-0, but that's a pretty good selling. That's a really strong selling point right there. I think we could both agree, and I think we agree 100%. You got to get Leia and Jabba as your first two, whether you do it one order or the other, for those two, for the performance and the return on investment. And then I agree with you. It's time to branch off. Now, what you said that was interesting, and what really kind of hit me, and I hadn't thought about, was you did. We take different paths. I'm always looking at that executor path as being the first way to go. So I'm farming those bounty hunter ships from the moment I have them farmable, whereas you went and got your endurance and your negotiator, and you got all your Galactic Republic ships. Well, you didn't have those bounty hunter ships farmed. So I think obviously that's a major factor, right, in your decision, because you hadn't farmed those. So you need the Millennium Falcon to get Luke unlocked. You're not gonna, if you're close to Leia, because everybody's farming CLS, right? I mean, CLS is kind of the crux behind Leia, and maybe that's another point to Leia saying, you got to get CLS anyway. Everybody should be farming CLS as one of their early teams in the game, and the characters in that fall to Leia along with some other stuff that goes that fits in there. So I'm not gonna fault it. I'm gonna say this. I think if you follow the Sanjita path, where you farm that Galactic Republic fleet, then it makes 100% sense to get Leia first. Or if you do anything besides Executor first, makes sense to go, or Profundity, I guess, would fit there too these days. Still, I don't think that's a side conversation. Then Leia makes sense first. And if you go with mine, I still feel like I want that extra 4 or 5 months of Smuggler's Run 2. I want that on my roster to get an extra. Which 6 a month, so if it's 4 months, you're looking at
6-stop mods,
yeah, 20, something like that, right? So it's 2 per times 6,
or maybe 24 to 30.
4 months. Say what?
Yeah, it might be 24 to 30 then.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot, and that's a big difference. And I'll tell you the other reason. I look at so many accounts, and you look at a bunch of accounts too, and it's like people are not farming mods, and they're just really not making the effort they need to be making in a lot of cases. And if you farm the Poncho Burrows early, which I'm a huge proponent of, Qui-Gon, Master Qui-Gon, and Padawan Obi-Wan being your first 2 relics in the game, for a lot of reasons, and you get that one done, that's going to get you some mods, and you get Jabba in there, get you some mods, and down the road the Peridia Pals get you. If you find ways to get mods that don't require as much grinding as you have to do on a daily basis, because free to play, you know it and I know it, it's tough to get crystals. And I had somebody chat, or somebody told me there was a comment in one of my videos that said I'd be getting more crystals free to play if I'd really focused on fleets. And I'm like, what do you think I've been doing here? Like, I've been farming these bounty hunter ships from the first day one, but people are buying finalizers and buying negotiators and buying
oh yeah.
Just a hyperdrive bundle alone puts me so far behind.
So the hyperdrive bundle alone, it just crushes you right when you start.
Right. And what I'm kind of saying with that is that I'm not able to get more than 50, maybe 100 crystals every day in Fleet Arena. I haven't even done 100 crystals every day at all until I get that Executor up there and start climbing. So I I don't get to do a lot of mod refreshes every day, right? And if I'm now, I got to really, I am doing pretty well with my mods, but if I'm not paying attention as a new game player, especially if you're free to play, that's where Jabba comes in to me and those other teams as well.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. I think we kind of like agree and meet on the middle. It all comes down to ships. Like if you're starting with Executor, then yeah, Java makes more sense. Because not even if they're not even like being the same characters or not, like you're going bounty hunters a lot for both. Like you're doing Executor, it's a bunch of different bounty hunters. Job, you add a few more bounty hunters, so you have them in the meantime. However, I do like some of the reasons I like going for Galactic Republic over Executor. Executors, it's a better fleet overall, yes. It just takes a little bit longer to get there. The Relic 8 on Piet is kind of a huge hang up for me. The amount of ships you have to farm, the amount of high relics. And the best thing about Galactic Republic, I'm able to beat, to be able to reliably beat Profundity kind of before and after Rogue One, you've needed a Negotiator. Endurance can kind of do everything else, but you need Negotiator.
Yeah.
What I really like is they have completely accelerated these Galactic Republic fleets. Even after I started, I had to farm them the hard way. Maybe I finished up once I made the change, but when they added them to like the Galactic War story, these ships are so easy to farm. Anakin, Ahsoka,
True.
Fives is pretty good too. The only hard farms are, well, is BTL Y-wing? Is that in shipments? Like the I don't
no,
think
it's
so.
not.
You have to farm it. So yeah,
it's
you have to farm that and Marauder the hard way. And Plo Koon Starfighter they actually made harder as well. But it's like they're easier with the exception of Marauder, who's kind of, it's the crux of the whole fleet. Like it's single pilot ships, just like bounty hunters, yeah. But it's just you're using it all along. It just seems quicker to get up and running, and then it's just less extraneous teams to work on. And while you were talking for a second, I just ran a battle with CLS because we were talking a little bit about CLS being important. CLS is so important for Conquest early.
Yeah.
You just care him and Leia. I had Leia by the time I got to Heart of Conquest, but like CLS, Padawan Obi-Kron, Leia, all of them, they just carried me through Conquest. And Hard Conquest, the first Hard Conquest I did, I was getting gold crate. I've been getting gold crate the whole time. Just because of those three teams mainly. Like the big thing is just you 3-star every node, and then the feats you try to pick up a little bit after. But yeah, CLS, and then Phoenix feeds well into Leia. And from a assault battle perspective, it's kind of like a 2 compared to a 1 prospect. Because with Jabba, once you get, or maybe no, it's 2 for 2. Because Jedi Knight Luke dominates the Jedi 1. And Jabba dominates the Bounty Hunter 1, but it's like kind of on the way up, you have more to work with. So like on the way up, when you get your Phoenix and your CLS, you're already getting pretty high along those assault battles, Military Might, and then Secrets and Shadows. But then really for Jabba, it's really a delayed payoff. You're not going to get super far until you unlock Jedi Knight Luke, and then until you unlock Jabba. And if you're doing Imperial Troopers along the way for Executor 2, that's big. But
they're ding on the nose. Yeah, see, I've got my Relic Piet now, and I'm ready to go into that Rebel Roundup and see what I can do. I think Challenge Tier 2 is a given with Relic Piet in there. And those troopers are cheap, dude. Like you mentioned the ships being a Galactic War store. Like I've got Snow Trooper and Range Trooper was a farm and Veers was a farm, but Stark, it's really easy to get. I didn't put Dark Trooper in there, but I'm curious to test those guys Rebel Roundup next time. So I can see the value both ways, man. I really can. It just depends on your early farm. And one thing I think is worth talking about is ships are a complete muddled mess right now, and maybe that's a good thing, and it's something I want to talk about. Like we always complain that they've got all these counters, just it's all set up, you got to have this team, feels like ships right now there's a little bit of mixing and matching going on where you actually choose which fleet used in what situation, and maybe you throw in like I'm throwing in the Mark 6 with my Executor fleet to kill Leviathans, stuff like that is happening in ships, where it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen with characters much anymore. So maybe ships is kind of what we enjoy with the game, and they've got it to that point. ships are really interesting, and I'm not even sure if I should keep telling people to farm Executor going forward, because I just don't know where ships are going right now. It's kind of up in the air for me at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I think, I mean, if someone goes for Executor and they're efficient and they get it, like, I'm not gonna say, oh my gosh, shame on you. I
Yeah,
would for like Profundity. I think Profundity is such a bad idea for like a first fleet.
agreed.
But yeah, Galactic Republic, Executor, can't really go wrong. And I think we're both in agreement that you need to start planning for Leviathan for like as soon as when you finish off Fury class in Proving Grounds. Because it's just, they've made it clear Leviathan is the golden child. You cannot touch Leviathan. If something encroaches on Leviathan, it needs to get shut down. But luckily, yeah, I've been running that Mark 6 and the reinforcements, and it's, it's still kind of a toss-up, but it's for Fleet Arena, it's great.
Yeah.
Rogue One has made my climb easier without me even using it, because these Executor fleets, some of them that I have a difficult time beating with my own Executor because they're like Razor Crest is too fast, they'll use Rogue One in their reinforcements, and it's such a high priority. It's a super flimsy, weak Rogue One, and it comes out first instead of Houndstooth or Boba Fett, and then I just roll over it. So it's kind of nice.
That is kind of
Actually,
nice.
another thing I thought of that was another little feather in the cap for Leia. I'm obsessed with Leia. She's good for Imperial Troopers too, because you get Scout Trooper. Yeah, I did a lot with my Relic 7 Scout Trooper. I had like a Gear 10 Piet for a while. Gear 10 Piet, R7 Scout Trooper, R10 Veers, range, and whoever else. And I'm an
Right.
experienced player, so it was easier for me to kind of like add that on too with like the minimal gear. Oh, I used Dark Trooper. He was like Gear 10 or 11. But I got through, the challenge tier ones. But I was a big Palpatine Vader guy, so like I covered Forest Moon with Palpatine Vader, and then you get the Places of
Saw that.
Power. So yeah, I'm all about that Leia Phoenix path, and then Phoenix leading into Pal Vader. But I don't think, I'd say it's like 1A 1B. I don't think it's like terrible like going Imperial Troopers and Executor Jabba, because I did not relic all my Phoenix. It's just Rex, and I don't regret that now because I just use them with Leia, so it's not like you pour into them forever. And they have a limit on Secrets and Shadows, right? Like I got Challenge Tier 1, 3-starred, like on a fluke piece of luck
Yeah.
because Nihilus decided to like basic first move.
That's like a 1 in 20 RNG chance of that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he didn't base it. He kept doing the Force Drain thing over and over again, even though he had Annihilate ready. I was like, all right, thank you. And yeah. And now I have Great Mothers, and I'm gonna try them out. So
They're gonna roll it.
yeah.
You got to have zombie in there, which is weird, but they
Yeah.
roll right over it, man.
Yeah, luckily I don't have zombie geared up, but luckily zombie is pre-Kyrotech, so I'm not worried about it if I
Yep.
need it. All
Well,
right.
I'm going to agree with you, man. I think 1A and 1B is a really good way to look at it. I don't think you go wrong either way you do it. And I do feel like you and I have both kind of farmed this thing from a really good perspective, from two different perspectives, but from really effective farming both ways. And as my free-to-play account grows, we'll kind of see if maybe I'll start like looking at where you were on a monthly basis now, matching up against your account where back when you did it previously.
Yeah.
So, but I think the Galactic Republic fleet and Leia is a great idea, and I'm going to stand by my Executor into Jabba, and I do think 100% that it is accurate, especially for a free to play player, to say get Jabba and get Leia, and then start farming those teams around it, like your Balin Skull, which gets you great mothers, like your Bo Katan, who wipes out Lord Vader and other galactic legends, like Star Killer. Same, get those galactic legend killers on your roster. And I also agree with you on I talk about it all the time in roster reviews, that when you see that you're 6 months out from getting Malgus and Fury class unlocked, start farming those Sith ships right then, because it takes 6 months to get them done if you haven't started some of them in the regular farming, and you want to be ready to get Leviathan ASAP, because I don't know if they'll ever bring out another capital ship at the rate we're going.
Yeah. No, yeah. Leviathan was announced, I think, in like April 2023, and we got it
Yep.
like August, September. So if they were to have another capital ship, they'd announce it like 5 months or so in advance. So we still don't have that, and it's been 2.5 years, or like over 2 years with Leviathan. So we'll have at least 2.5 years with it. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm farming those Sith ships from now. They're nowhere near, and it'll feel good to have a Relic 9 Darth Revan and Malik when Delta comes around. I'll be like, hey, there's some solid characters. Maybe there's some solo potential there as well. But yeah, I think we're in agreement there. So yeah, we each have our own approach play styles, but they fundamentally are getting at the same thing: fleets, assault battles, resources, efficiency, all that. So I think.
So with our reasonable conversation, I think you should make the thumbnail with me looking really angry and you looking really angry and like ready to punch each other.
If you can get me those assets, that'd be great, but I don't really have the means to do that. I was gonna have just, Jabba and Leia in there, but ultimately we started talking about ships. So ships is just at the core of everything we think about in this game, which is funny. But I like it that way. It's a simple thing. It's just you have one good fleet that can carry you through, and you get all your crystals. So,
yep, agreed.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Nooch, for coming on. It's a great talk.
Yeah, good to see you again, sir. It's good to spend some time.
All right, guys, get both Jabba and Leia. Thanks. Bye.